Hi guys, welcome to the Close Call podcast. Today we're discussing a not so close call game between the Punjab Kings and the Chennai Super Kings. Both Kings in the game, but one clearly on top of the other today. And let's just call this the bowlers IPL. For starters, because I think bowlers are clearly dominating the game. And whichever pitch you see, I mean, there were talks about the ghosts of the Chepauk pitch, but now we're seeing the same thing happening at Wankhede. I mean, the top six of the Punjab Kings, there was a complete collapse. Seems like there were only two 10 plus scores in their lineup. One was Jai Richardson and the other was Shah Rukh Khan. So would love your thoughts on that.
Bowlers clearly dominated the game. Wankhede is still a very impressive batting pitch. It was clearly the bowlers' skills that Punjab couldn't face up to. Dhoni had a clear vision in mind that if Deepak Chahar is in an attacking form, that he would utilize his 4 overs for the attacking. He wouldn't bowl him for the death. And Deepak Chahar clearly retained that role of being the attack bowler. Chair has clearly worked on his skills. He's not the hitting the deck hard bowler like Shardul Thakur is, and and Punjab clearly couldn't face up to the Chair skill. That wicket of Mayank Agarwal was just like a bowler's dream, a bowler's wet dream. I can say that it was the bowler's wet dream.
I mean, I completely agree that Dhoni read the pitch very nicely. Not just about reading the pitch nicely, but I think he already had an appropriate combination of bowlers to go ahead in this match. I mean, if you look at the yesterday's game, right, there's something amazing about the Wankhede pitch, the way it has played out in the past two matches, which is 4 innings, right? You had Rajasthan Royals, the boys in the blue and pink, they took their wickets with the slow delivery. We saw Mustafizur taking wickets while he took the pace of the ball. We saw Jadeja not commit to that particular deliveries beautifully. But then in the immediate innings, we saw Chris Vokes swinging the ball beautifully and getting those wickets, right? So I think the way though that match played out, I think Dhoni knew that he has already got his ace bowler for this pitch, right? It's not going to change overnight so drastically. And we know Deepak Chahar, like her just said, he doesn't hit the deck hard kind of a bowler, right? He believes on moving the ball. Now, there are days when he's not getting the move on the ball, but his seam position is so brilliantly, accurate.
It's brilliant. Absolutely, yeah.
It's so stable at times that when he gets the move on the ball, he gets it like those Mayank Agarwal deliveries, man. I think supremely amazing and a great display of fielding. I think it was a big relief to see Ravindra Jadeja in the field. The kind of effort that he was putting in every now and then, I think a great plus for the Indian cricket team as well. And I think overall it was a very superior, like you said, one king turned out superior than the other.
The kind of guy Jadeja is, his effort seems effortless. He has trained so much, his arms are so strong. That is, the throw from the boundaries go towards the keeper with just a tip or like even straight to the to the keeper without losing any pace.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, to have a guy like Jadeja in your team is just a huge blessing. I would call it a total blessing. And I would say anyone, you playing any format, any captain would love to have Jadeja in your team. He's a total superhuman, and no doubt, whether you call it that sentence where we're a little careful and we say one of the best fielders in the world, no, I think he is the best fielder in the world. I don't think there's an overall combination of being so good at catching the ball, so good at reaching the ball, so good at the coordination, and so good at hitting it at the stumps. There's no one who can do all those things combined together. You see him, he's so far at from the ball at the deep. He judges it so early and he gets there so early. Many people forget, they see them throwing the ball and catching the ball. You don't see how much distance he covers and gets to the ball. So
Yeah.
that's some amazing feat. And let's just talk a little more about Deepak Chahar's bowling. I mean, that was a masterclass, I feel like, for swing bowlers, bowling early with the new ball. That ball, it kept it tailed in, and suddenly that outswing, because Mayank Agarwal was totally caught out of sorts with that ball. I mean, he was shocked, with what really happened. And, you're exactly what Akshay said. You see a lot of bowlers coming with those variations and those slower balls, and Deepak Chahar did that later. And I think bowlers, there's an art to why they're dominating recently. they clearly have. I think they've made notes of the batsman's weaknesses. I mean, you look at how they bowled to Suresh Raina. You look at how they bowled to Nicholas Puran. They know that these batsmen, once they get settled, they're going to come after us. And just not letting them get settled. I mean, one ball, two ball, and the third ball on their weakness. So that's what's happening. They're assessing it so clearly, and you're seeing so many of these slower balls being played either late or early, and batsmen just don't have any clues. So, what do you think should go right? What's going wrong? What do you think about it?
What I feel that those are the, you mentioned Gale and Nicholas Puran and Deepak Huda. Those are strikers of the ball who who get off their boundaries from from the faster ones, from the 135 plus ones. They need that pace to go along with their bat. There's magics in Gale bat, in Gale's bat, and he gets that clearly, that he just chips the ball and it goes towards the boundary. Now, the thing with today's match was that Deepak Huda had that knowledge. He didn't bowl them full, bowled at a good length, and still had it seaming. And the thing with the Deepak Huda was, if Shah Rukh Khan was, if Deepak Huda still had his overs with him, if Dhoni didn't utilize him, that so early, I feel Punjab could have gotten out with a much lower total than we saw. SRK faced those two balls, in front of Huda, and he clearly struggled with the seam. So and he got off with Shadul. He scored off Shadul's. Shadul was providing him with the bounce and with the pace. So if just a thought, but if if I mean Chahar was Deepak Chahar was there later in the game when Shahrukh came in with his overs and balls left, Punjab could have gotten out with a much lesser total.
I would go to Akshay with that thought. Akshay, along with your point, just tell us what you think about Shardul Thakur and that, the fire. Or I think, do you believe he has a different mindset when he bowled for the T20s in India and the ODIs, and when he's bowling for the CSK games? What's going different?
Okay, so 2 points that you addressed there. First, let's talk about Shardul Thakur, right? But this is my personal opinion, and I think Shardul's struggling a little bit because of. I think it's the change in the camp that is taking him a little bit of time this time around. We've seen him complete his quota of 10 overs in the ODI games that he played against England, and I think he's a very good bowler. Like, there's no doubt about how, in that England innings he was constantly taking two wickets in every over, and that was a big achievement. Every match he would come in and take two crucial wickets. And also, it's just what I personally believe, that this change in camp, a little bit of fatigue has set in. So he's going to take a little bit of time. But I don't think you can keep Shardul Thakur out of the wicket takers list. He's always going to dig in there and give you a few crucial wickets.
Yeah.
The other point that you said, about the batsmen, I think the bowlers have done their part. They have done their homework. Let's give it to them. But what I also think is that there has been a reckless nature that we've seen in batsmen. Because if you see all these matches from the 13th till 16th over, there has been a constant collapse of middle order. We saw Sunrisers Hyderabad do it while chasing a total that seemed comfortable.
KKR.
We saw KKR do it. We saw in today's game as well. Chennai, they were in cruise control, and then a quick succession of wickets.
Yeah.
So I think the idea is that there is a little bit of a tendency that you would say that people are not relying on the finishing abilities of every team, of every batting order now, because I think there's a little bit of doubt that has set in, that if you keep a lot towards the end of the innings, you will always fall short, right? Like you saw today, Chennai were trying to chase a run rate. They wanted their run rate to be big. So they said, well, let's get over by the 14th over. But when they started going for it, and when they realized, and I mean, look, Suresh Raina constantly having troubles with short ball. So if I am Suresh Raina and I'm thinking, well, look, the match is already won. It's in our pocket. The whole point is that if I show my weakness today, it's going to get targeted over and over and over again. So the good choice that Suresh Raina had was, now Meredith, of course, remember this, that a bowler can only bowl 2 short balls. And after that, you have your warnings coming in, no balls coming in. So they can't constantly keep targeting you. What Suresh Raina could have simply done is, he could have just left those balls. He left two of those deliveries very intelligently. He just dug down. So I'm expecting that little bit of intelligence. Johnny Bairstow the other day just went for a hit, got out to Shahbaz Ahmed. Then you saw Manish Pandey doing the same, and then you saw Abdul Samad doing the same.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a pattern that is following, right? And I dislike that pattern. Moeen Ali also was having trouble with the short ball. So perhaps there could have been that sort of a communication that the pitch is behaving in a certain way, and we have to respect a certain kind of delivery. And I think that certain respect that should be shown to all these bowlers who are, to their credit, bowling good deliveries, it is not being shown in a hurry, because you have a constant fear that, well, we don't want to leave a lot towards the end of the innings, so let's just hurry up, and that hurry is causing a little bit of trouble.
Akshay, I'll just hold you there, and you mentioned something about when the pitch is behaving in a certain way, and let's just take 30 seconds. We're not some cricket gurus to talk too much about pitches, but let's just take 30 seconds to give our basic thoughts about, is there a change that we've seen between that first match that we saw between the Rajasthan Royals and the Punjab Kings, that high scoring 220 game? A total of, we had a lot of talk about that, more than 430 runs or runs scored. And today's pitch, I mean, it doesn't seem like the same Wankhede surface to me that, the Wankhede Stadium people know, and the pitch that it generally behaves like. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, so what I have been hearing from the pitch analysis and all those reports is that there's a little bit of extra grass on this Wankhede pitch, right? So given that extra grass, I think a lot of these variations that the bowlers are trying in, they're coming very nicely. Mm-hmm. However, the fact that Sanju Samson's team and Rahul's team, and both of these guys individually played that brilliant knock on Wankhede. And of course, people are talking about pitches changing. Look, David Miller was playing on the same track yesterday, right? Look at how he built his innings of 62 runs. That's the kind of intelligence that he required. Look at David Miller, right? David Miller had his innings yesterday, and the way he constructed it, the way calculatively he hit those shots. Morris finished it amazingly. And I know people will, of course, be skeptical about Tom Curran getting that over, and that's basically the reason why Chris Morris was able to hit them, because Tom Curran did not have all that experience. But still, there are batsmen individually. Today you saw Shah Rukh Khan. Come on, in this lineup, if you're telling me that only one man is going to stand till the end for Punjab Kings, I am saying, well, maybe it's going to be a Chris Gale, maybe a KL Rahul. Of course, KL Rahul is someone who you expect it from. Maybe even a Mayank Agarwal, given the experience that these guys have. But like I said, it's just not happening the way the pitches are behaving. You've got to respect the pitch and say that, well, it's a little bowler friendly today, so let's behave accordingly.
Yeah, Arjas?
What I feel that bowlers have changed their attitude after the high scoring game that we saw. That analysts have changed their plans with the pace and the bounce and everything. So the teams are picking their bowlers according to the plan and according to the pitch behaving. They have kept their express pacers, held back the express pacers. We saw that with Chennai. We saw that with Punjab, that they have held their express pacers back. We have more of a variation bowlers coming in. And talking about batsmen have always had the game at difficulty. Raina has always had difficulty with the short balls that we are seeing. And I won't say that CSK limped to the end. It was more like they were more excited to get to the end early. The batsman got excited early. Ambati Rayudu played a reckless shot because he was excited to finish the game.
Yeah.
And we saw definitely a good game before this. Chennai scoring a total of 188 on the same Wankhede pitch that we in their first game. So it was more like an excitement that got them to lose their last two wickets with Raina and Ambati. Rest went fine. Rest was a bowler's game. I can't blame the batsman too much today. Chennai batsman too much.